This song is licensed for use within this podcast. All song and copyright information can be found at www.mybookofmormonpodcast.com. Hello, welcome back to another episode of My Book of Mormon with me, your host, David Michael. This is episode 31. We're going to jump back in to Alma, exciting book of Alma. So let's see. Before I start, I wanted to let everybody know I was really excited. I got this email, and the person that sent it really asked for like complete anonymity. Yeah, that's it. So no names at all. But anyway, they said to me that they had heard of my podcast through some, conversations with someone. Didn't really get into the specifics of how. But they said they're just curious to see what it was. And they said, I believe the way that they worded it was, you would have called me a TBM. So I said, okay, I got a TBM on my hands. And, I've gotten a fair amount of emails from TBMs since I started this. Some of them pleasant, some of them not so much. But anyway, one person was like, okay, here comes another one. And they said, so I went into it just curious to hear what it would sound like. And they said, after listening to the first episode, I was really mad at you. It was just like, who does this guy think he is? He's just tearing apart everything that I believe, everything I've ever been taught. What a jerk, right? And then they said, but then, like, for about a week, maybe 2 weeks, they just couldn't get out of their head. Like, is that really what our book sounds like? Right? Is that really what it sounds like to someone that wasn't raised with this? So curiosity got the better of them. And they started listening again. Apparently they're all caught up now. And apparently they officially have doubts. And, not quite ready to say they're Exmo or anything like that. This really got them thinking. And they've said that they're going to go and start doing a lot more research and really start looking into the issue because they think, there's the way it sounds when someone's reading it for the first time has just really kind of opened their eyes. So I was really excited to hear that there was somebody out there that is starting to use some reason and logic and starting to kind of turn on the critical thinking aspects of regarding their faith. Not that they're not a critical thinking person in life. I don't know. But, I just thought it was really awesome. So thank you so much for reaching out and let me know that. And the other really cool thing was at the very end of the email is signed it with proud member of the Mimo family. And I thought, that's it. I've been trying to figure out what to call Mimos, whether it was, I kept joking, Mimo movement, or Mimo, church, or something. I don't know what to call it. Mimo family, I think, fits perfectly. You all feel like a family to me. All of the stuff that you guys write me and the stuff that you guys do for the show feels like a family. So thanks to everybody for being a part of this family. And I'm just happy, really happy right now that we got somebody out there really taking a hard look at their beliefs and able to do so for the first time in their life. And I think that's really exciting. And then also excited that we finally have a name, the Mimo family. So, all right. So it feels like a family when all of you reach out to me and the stuff you've changed my life too. And so I know apparently I'm changing some people's lives, and that's a really exciting thing to hear. But you really have changed mine. For one, I didn't ever really know about this Mormon culture and what it was, and I knew it existed, but I didn't know anything about it, and I certainly didn't know how pervasive it was in lives. And so I'm learning about a culture I really didn't even know existed, and this just hearing that I'm helping people in some, even if it's in a small way, it's just, I'm telling you, it gets me out of bed in the morning. So thank you to everyone that was right and telling me their stories. I'm never going to get sick of it. I don't ever feel like, I'm typing, this is too long. I don't care. Send me a book if you want to. So yeah, thank you for the person that sent me this. It really meant a lot to me. And, I thought it was awesome. So moving on to other people that we need to thank. We also need to thank a couple more real Mimos. That's right. People are still going out there and becoming, patrons of the show, which has just been fantastic. So first up, we have Mike Price. Thank you very much, Mike, for becoming a real Mimo. Just awesome. Welcome to the Mimo family. Yeah, it's going to be fun to say that from now on. And then we also have Matt. Matt has become a real Mimo, so thank you, Matt. And we have our first feline Actually, our first non-human. Real Mimo, and that would be Max Cat Gandalf. So thank you, Gandalf. Matt, give Gandalf an extra treat on me, because welcome to being a real Mimo, Matt's cat. So that's awesome. I love how creative everybody is when they're doing this stuff. So yeah, anybody else that wants to contribute, that's great. We do have another goal out there, which I'm a little bit terrified that we'll hit, to be perfectly honest, because it'll mean a lot more work for me if we get to it. It doesn't mean I'm not grateful. Please don't think that's what I'm saying. I think it's awesome. If we get there, if we reach the next goal, then that means that there's a ton of people that really, really get value out of this and really want. And if there's that many people that want it, I will step up and find a way to make it work and put the extra time in. One quick last thing I want to interject with. Last week when I released episode 30, apparently there was some trouble with Stitcher. And so I apologize to any of you Stitcher listeners that had to wait like an extra day to get it. Thanks to the listener that reached out to me to let me know there was a problem. I immediately contacted Stitcher, and they said, we're having some technical difficulties. We'll fix it. And while they were trying to fix it, the whole show disappeared for like an hour, and I was freaking out. But then it came back up and had the next episode. So hopefully that's all worked out. I'm going to double-check really closely this week to make sure the kinks are worked out with Stitcher. And so if you're a Stitcher listener, hopefully that was a one-time fluke. So, okay. Enough of all that. Let's get into Alma. More excited than ever to keep doing this thing. We left off. We read the first chapter of Alma, and it was. Let's see what happened. They basically abandoned the monarchy, right? And they went to this kind of theocratic system. Not really sure about it. These judges. So these judges, it's a bit weird. It seems like they're elected judges, and if the people ever don't like the judgments that are made, they can kick them out of office or something. So it's a bit strange, the whole thing. Anyway. So I'm not really sure that I figured this out. But it does seem that the judges are really judging more on Deuteronomic or Abrahamic, is that what I say? Old Testament, let's put it that way. Old Testament law, right? So that seems to be their justice system is purely based on their theology. And in fact, the head judge, like the supreme judge or whatever, is also the high priest, right? Who is Alma. Well, Alma Jr. So, anyway, yeah. So that's, it seems like it's a theocracy. And there's no king now. But it seems like Alma's in charge. There's no king. Alright, so let's do Alma chapter 2. And it came to pass, drink! In the commencement of the 5th year of their reign, there began to be a contention among the people. I don't know. We already knew this was coming, right? The last chapter said, everything was fine until the 5th year. So we knew something bad was going to happen in this 5th year. So it sounds like there's contention. For a certain man being called, Amlici? Amlici. Going with Amlici. Yeah, it's got to be Amlici. I've learned that if there's an I at the end, you pronounce it as an I. So, could it be Amlici? No, Amlici. That's what we're doing. I hope I'm right. Okay. He being a very cunning man, yea, drink, a wise man as to the wisdom of the world, he being after the order of the man that slew Gideon by the sword, who is executed according to the law. Alright, so remember that guy? I don't remember his name. It's not important. But the guy that, started his own church where priests were paid, and apparently that was just horrible. You can't pay priests. What's wrong with you? And so, it was just starting to get dicey. Whether or not he had actually done anything wrong was a bit up in the air. But then when Gideon came and said, dude, I think you're wrong, and you just killed him, well, then there you go. So he had to be put to death for murder. Although it seemed like when he was on trial, it didn't seem like murder was the main focus, did it? It was kind of like that was the after. It was like, you did these horrible things by saying priests should be paid. Rah! And then it was like, and you killed that dude, so, Anyway, he got killed somehow. They didn't exactly say how. Some hill. Okay. Now this, what did I say again? Amlici. Okay, give me a minute, I'll get it. Now this Amlici had, by his cunning, drawn away much people after him, even so much that they began to be very powerful, and they began to endeavor to establish Amlici to be king over the people. Well, I don't know. It seemed like the society was doing better with a king. Just saying. And this whole weird theocracy with the judges, I'm not sold. Now this was alarming to the people of the church, and also to those who had not been drawn away after the persuasions of Amlici. For they knew that according to their law that such things must be established by the voice of the people. Well, there you go. Can't have a king unless they vote for him. Okay. Therefore, if it were possible that Amlici should gain the voice of the people, he, being a wicked man, what? So suddenly he got wicked? Before it said he was cunning. Okay. Said he was wise. All right. Let's see. What else did it say about him? Oh, it said he was cunning again. Yeah. So, and all of a sudden he's wicked. I don't know what he did to make himself wicked, but apparently that's his new title, a wicked man. All right. So being a wicked man would deprive them of their rights and privileges of the church, for it was his intent to destroy the church of God. Again, I don't know how they know what people's intent are. You know what I mean? It's like they're just making these conclusions. But, yeah, there you go. And it came to pass, drink, that the people assembled themselves together throughout all the land, every man according to his mind, whether it was for or against Amlici, in separate bodies, having much dispute and wonderful contentions one with another. So, yeah, we're about to have what sounds like a civil war, and it's over. We basically have the theocracy people on one side and the monarchy people on the other. Right? There you go. Trying to decide how they want to be governed. And some of them do not want to live in a world where the church sets the law, and others don't want to live in a world where the king sets the law. So we'll see how this plays out. And thus they did assemble themselves together to cast in their voices concerning the matter, and they were laid before the judges. Oh, never mind. Doesn't sound like a civil war. Oh, I'm sorry. I just assumed these people are always fighting. So, yeah, I thought when they gathered, on either side, there was about to be a battle. But it sounds like they were just voting. So, okay, fair enough. And it came to pass, drink, that the voice of the people came against Amlici. Not Amlici, sorry. Amlici. Oof. Amlici was somebody else, wasn't he? Or did I just make that up? I think Amlici was somebody. Yeah. All right. That he was not made king over the people. Well, there you go, Amlici. You lost the vote. It's all right. It's all right. You're not going to be the last Mormon to lose a vote for high office. It happens again a few thousand years later. Now this did cause much joy in the hearts of those who were against him, but Amlici did stir up those who were in his favor to anger against those who were not in his favor. There you go. And it came to pass, drink, that they were gathered themselves together and did consecrate Amlici to be their king. Ooh. So they were like, we don't really care. Lost the vote, but yeah, we don't really. No one was arguing for a democracy, right? We had theocracy and monarchy. So yeah, I think the whole voting thing, they were like, we don't really care if you voted for him or not. He's the king. Now, when Amlici was made the king over them, he commanded them they should take up arms against their brethren. I knew it was coming. And this he did that he might subject them to him. It's all right. He wants to rule the people by the sword. Now the people of Amlici were distinguished by the name of Amlici, being called Amlicites. Okay? And the remainder were called Nephites, or the people of God. Of course. You could either call them Nephites or people of God, because they're just so holy. Therefore the people of the Nephites were aware of the intent of the Amlicites, and therefore they did prepare to meet them. Yea, drink. They did arm themselves with the swords, with the scimitars, with bows, and with arrows, and with stones. You had some good weapons, and then stones. Better be big stones. And with slings, and with all manner of weapons of war of every kind. So they have tanks and, I'm joking. And thus they were prepared to meet the Amlicites at the time of their coming. And they were appointed captains, and higher captains, and chief captains, according to their numbers. Sorry, that was just funny. Couldn't go like captains and majors and colonels. No, it was captains, higher captains, and chief captains. There you go. And it came to pass, drink, that Amlici did arm his men with all manner of weapons, of every kind of war, and he was also appointed rulers and leaders over his people, to lead them to war against their brethren. Man, this is a good build-up. I'm giving it to him. This is, I'm excited, edge of my seat here. And it came to pass, drink, that the Amlicites came upon the hill of, Amnahu. I'll go with Amnahu. Alright. Came upon the hill Amnahu, which was east of the river Sidon, which ran by the land of Zarahemla, and there began to make war with the Nephites. Sorry, I know the build-up was getting really dramatic, and then I stumbled on some of these weird words, but, alright, let's get back into it. Battle coming. Now, Alma, yeah, where have you been, Alma? He's just, asleep. Being the chief judge and the governor of the people of Nephi, therefore he went up with his people, yea, drink, with his captains, the chief captains, yea, drink again, and the head of his armies, against the Amlicites to battle. So Alma's no slouch. He's like, yeah, there's going to be a war? Give me my armor. I'm going to be up front. Take these guys out. And they began to slay the Amalekites upon the hill east of Sidon. And the Amalekites did contend with the Nephites with great strength, insomuch that many of the Nephites did fall before the Amalekites. So this, I was hoping for a little bit more description of the battle. Sounds like they're both doing a pretty good job. Let's see how it ends. Nevertheless, the Lord did strengthen the hand of the Nephites. Well, see, God, you're not being fair. Let them fight it out. Come on. God comes in and helps one side. That's just not a fair battle. All right, so he strengthened the hand of the Nephites, that they slew the Amalekites with great slaughter. Well, that's the God we know. And they began to flee before them. So good old God, once again, says there's a problem. Just kill them. Just kill them all. Slaughter. There's the answer. I swear. Okay, and it came to pass, drink, that the Nephites did pursue the Amalekites all that day, and did slay them with much slaughter. Good God. Insomuch that they were slain of the Amalekites 12,532 souls in a day? Good God. And there were slain of the Nephites 6,562 souls. Wow. So, like, almost 20,000 people in a day were killed. It is a bloody day. And I love that, like, the Nephites won, right? So God said, got your back. I'm strengthening your hand, however that works. And so they won. So the Amalekites were just retreating. They're just like, we're done. We're out of here. So the Nephites could say, okay, we won. Woohoo, victory dance. Nope. They chased them down and just slaughtered them. That's, if they'd asked God, that's probably exactly what he would have told them to do, because that kind of fits his M.O. But still, bloody day. And it came to pass, drink, well, it seems a little depressing now, that when Alma could pursue the Amalekites no longer, he caused that his people should pitch their tents in the valley of Gideon, the valley being called after that Gideon, who was slain by the hand of Nehor. Oh, that's right, Nehor. How could I forget his name? With the sword. And in this valley the Nephites did pitch their tents for the night. So, yeah, they literally were chasing them and slaughtering them until they just couldn't physically go on any longer and needed to rest. That's what that said. That's lovely. And Alma sent spies to follow the remnant of the Amalekites. My God, he's not done. That he might know of their plans and their plots, whereby he might guard himself against them. Oh, yeah. You need self-defense right now, Alma, since you just killed, like, all but a little handful of them. Well, we have to defend ourselves against them. That he might preserve his people from being destroyed. Yeah, sure. You just want to wipe them out. Let's call a spade here, Alma. Anyway. Now those whom he had sent out to watch the camp of the Amalekites were called Zeram and Amnor and Manti, right? I said Manti last, because it was not the name of the hill. That was the hill where they killed Nehor, and I said Manti, but I forgot if it ends in an I, you have to say Manti. All right, so let's go through these names again. Zeram, Amnor, Manti, and Limher. There you go. These were they who went out with their men to watch the camp of the Amalekites. And I'm sure it's very important for us to know their names. I don't know why, but at this point, we know. They're the 4 spies. And it came to pass, drink, that on the morrow they returned into the camp of the Nephites in great haste, being greatly astonished, and struck with much fear, saying, Behold, we followed the camp of the Amalekites, and to our great astonishment, in the land of Minor, above the land of Zarahemla, in the course of the land of Nephi, we saw numerous hosts of the Lamanites. Whoa! And behold, the Amalekites have joined them. Well, now they have a problem. Because unless the demographics have changed, we've been told that the Lamanites by far have the largest population. Like, by far. I think it was even if you took the rest of the world, you added up their whole population, not even half of what the Lamanites have. So this is not good. Not good for the Nephites. And they are upon our brethren in that land. And they are fleeing before them with their flocks, and their wives, and their children towards our city. And except we make haste, they obtain our possession of our city, and our fathers and our wives and our children be slain. Ha. So, these Lamanites and, what were the other ones called? The Amalekites, they've partnered up, and they said, hey, you know what? The entire Nephite army is out here in the field. Let's just go take the cities. Yeah, it's a pretty good plan. No, but, okay. But something just occurred to me. We've been told, time and time again, that the Lamanites wake up in the morning and say, how do we kill Nephites? They hate them, right? They just hate them to their core. And this is just like, they teach their children to hate them. This is just like their culture is a culture of hate. It's Nephite Hateville, right? So, but now, there's a bunch of Nephites, a bunch of them, right? And they're calling themselves something else now. They're calling them, but they were Nephites, right? They're just Nephites with a different idea of how to run a government, the Amalekites. They meet the Lamanites, and they're like, hey, we're your mortal blood enemy. Yeah, you know, that family line that you've sworn to just wipe off the earth, that's us. Hi, how you doing? Hey, listen, here's the thing. We don't really believe in theocracy. We don't think that's a good way to govern. We would prefer a monarchy. So we're kind of fighting with the theocracy people right now. And the Lamanites, instead of just saying, we don't really give a crap what government you want, you have the blood of Nephi, and you must die. That's how they've been kind of described so far. No, instead they say, we'll partner up. Why is that happening? Why are the Lamanites so quick to partner up with these, quite frankly, Nephites that have changed their name because of their king, whatever, but still, that's what they are. Why are they so quick to partner with them? It strikes me as odd. Now, I would say that perhaps the Lamanites do not, in fact, hate the Nephites to their core. Now, hear me out. This sounds crazy, but just hear me out. What if it's the religion that the Lamanites don't like? Maybe, just maybe, the Lamanites just don't agree with their whole, religious dogma and their insistence that they're right, the Nephites are right, and their version of God is the right one. Maybe that's what they hate. Maybe they're sick of that. So if I'm right, and there's this Lamanite army out in the field, and all of a sudden they see this group of Nephites running for their lives, and they stop them, and they say, what's going on? And they say, well, we quite frankly are sick of living under a theocratic government. We're tired of having our government shove their religion down our throat. We're sick of it, and we want to instill a king and put a stop to it. Now, if that's what the Lamanites heard, and I'm right, then they would have been like, well, awesome. This is finally some Nephites are seeing things our way. And so they would have gladly joined them. They'd have been like, awesome. Let's do this. Yeah, come on. Where are these? Where are these guys? right over the hill? Okay, let's go take them out. Yeah, that would add up. All right, I'm sorry. That is a theory. It makes sense. So the Nephites are now worried because the Lamanites are going to go take their city. Or the Lamanites and the, I keep forgetting their names, Amalekites. Yeah. And they are upon our brethren. Oh, read that. Sorry. Here we go. And it came to pass, drink, that the people of Nephi took their tents and departed out of the valley of Gideon towards their city, which was the city of Zarahemla. And behold, as they were crossing the river Sidon, the Lamanites and the Amalekites, being as numerous almost, as it were, as the sands of the sea, so a lot of them, came upon them to destroy them. Nevertheless, the Nephites, being strengthened by the hand of the Lord, let's not forget about that, they did have God on their side, having prayed mightily to him that he would deliver them out of the hands of their enemies, therefore the Lord did hear their cries, and did strengthen them, and the Lamanites and the Amalekites did fall before them. That plan backfired, didn't it? Okay. Sorry, Lamanites, you might have had a ton of people, but you didn't have God strengthening your hand, so you did not win the day. And it came to pass, drink, that Alma fought with Amlici with the sword, face to face, and they did contend mightily, one with another. Well, now, this is like how every war movie ends, right? You had to have the final sword battle, so just imagine, you got this battle going on around you, steel crashing together, because, they had steel then, we've already established that, and then, across the battlefield, the two generals see each other, and they just charge, so this is getting exciting again. All right, and it came to pass that, that Alma, being a man of God, being exercised with much faith, cried, saying, O Lord, have mercy and spare my life. What, he's doing this during the fight? Does he just lift his head up? That's not a very wise thing to do in the middle of a sword fight. That I may be an instrument in thy hands, and to save and preserve this people. Now when Alma had said these words, he contended again with Amlici. How did they pause? I don't understand. He called a time out or something? Hey, can you hold on a second, Amlici? I need to pray. Man, don't kill me while I'm doing that. Anyway. And he was strengthened, insomuch that he slew Amlici with a sword. I can't say that I didn't see that coming. So, there you go. Amlici dead. Alma victorious. And he also contended with the king of the Lamanites, but the king of the Lamanites fled back from before Alma, and sent his guards to contend with Alma. There you go. He's smarter. But Alma with his guards contended with the guards of the king of the Lamanites until he slew and drove them back. And thus he cleared the ground, or rather the bank. Make sure we clarify that. Which was on the west of the river Sidon, throwing the bodies of the Lamanites who had been slain into the waters of Sidon. Well, I hope they don't use that water for drinking purposes, because that's not healthy. That thereby his people might have room to cross and contend with the Lamanites and the Amalekites on the west side of the river Sidon. Oh my God. So they they threw all the bodies in there to create like a bridge? That's disgusting. So they were marching across corpses. Ugh, all right. I think that's what that sounded like. That's horrible. Anyway, pretty ruthless. And it came to pass, drink, that when they had all crossed the river Sidon, that the Lamanites and the Amalekites began to flee before them, notwithstanding they were so numerous they could not be numbered. So there's still just tons of them, but for some reason they're running away. So there you go. Probably because their hand isn't strengthened. There you go. Okay. And then they fled before the Nephites towards the wilderness, which was west and north, away beyond the borders of the land, and the Nephites did pursue them with their might, and did slay them. Good grief. So numerous, as many as the sands of the sea, and they're just killing them all. Yea, drink. They were met on every hand, and slain and driven, until they were scattered on the west and on the north, until they had reached the wilderness, which was called Hermounts? They named the wilderness. Okay. No, wilderness has a name now. Hermounts. And it was part of the wilderness which was infested by wild and ravenous beasts. And it came to pass, drink, that many died in the wilderness of their wounds, and were devoured by these beasts, and also the vultures of the air. And their bones have been found, and have been heaped up on the earth. Well, that was a bloody chapter. My goodness. That was... Well, I can't say it wasn't exciting. That was something else. But it sounds like having your hand strengthened by the Lord, that is the way to go. That is absolutely the way to go if you're going to go into battle. Because without it, it doesn't matter. I mean, you can outnumber your enemy 10-1. But if your hand's not strengthened by the Lord, look out. But I got to say, these Nephites are ruthless. They don't care. They don't care if you're retreating. They don't care if you put up a white flag. They want extermination. That is their definition of victory is you are all dead. And they are going to see to it. All right, so we're now on chapter 3 of Alma. Let's see if the bloodbath continues. And it came to pass, drink, that the Nephites who were not slain by the weapons of war, after having buried those who had been slain, now the numbers of the slain were not numbered because of the greatness of their number. Well, before they had it like exact number, right? It was like 6,052, and now they're just like, we stopped counting. There's a bunch of dead people. What are you going to do? After they finished burying their dead, they all returned to their lands and to their houses and their wives and their children. Well, they didn't all return, did they? A lot of them died. Now many women and children had been slain with the sword. Women and children? How did they die? What were the women and children doing in the battle? That's strange. Well, anyway, women and children somehow got killed. I guess the Nephites just brought everybody out with them. All right. And also many of their flocks and their herds, and also many of their fields of grain were destroyed, for they were trodden down by the hosts of men. Okay. So maybe this was like outside of the city. You had some little villages and some battles were taking place, and there's a little collateral damage. That makes more sense than having like women and children in your army. Women's fine. I have a problem with women in the military, but kids, I think you're crossing a moral line there. And now as many of the Lamanites and the Amalekites who had been slain upon the banks of the river Sidon were cast into the waters of Sidon, and behold, their bones are in the depths of the sea, and they are many. And note to Nephites, no longer use the river Sidon as a source of drinking water. You will get really sick. It's just riddled with corpses. And the Amalekites were distinguished from the Nephites, for they had marked themselves with red in their foreheads after the manner of the Lamanites. What? Nevertheless, they had not shorn their heads like unto the Lamanites. Apparently the Lamanites marked their foreheads with red. That's new information. Didn't know that before. And also apparently the Lamanites shaved their heads. So, I guess we use the same barber, because I don't have any hair either. I guess I'm a Lamanite. Well, no, because I'm too fair and delightsome to be a Lamanite, right? Yeah, okay. I'm half Lamanite, maybe. Now the heads of the Lamanites were shorn, and they were naked, save it were the skin which was girded about their loins, and also their armor which was girded about them, and their bows, and their arrows, and their stones, and their slings, and so forth. And so forth. All right, I think they're trying to, describe what a Lamanite looks like. So they're bald. They only wear loincloths and armor. And weapons. That's pretty much what they look like. Doesn't really describe how much this armor, covers them. So they might not really look naked, right? They're probably just, have armor on. So there you go. And the skins of the Lamanites were dark, according to the mark which was set upon their fathers. Back to good old God being a racist bastard. Okay, which was a curse upon them because of their transgressions and their rebellion among their brethren. Still just makes me sick reading that. to actually say that their skin is dark because they're cursed. Ugh, it's disgusting. All right. Fine. Because of their transgression and their rebellion against their brethren, who consisted of Nephi, Jacob, Joseph, and Sam, who were just and holy men. I love that they had to remind us, we don't remember. Hey, just in case you don't remember when this book got really racist, let's give you the details so you can really remember that moment. Okay. And their brethren sought to destroy them, therefore they were cursed, and the Lord God set a mark upon them, the mark of dark skin. It's lovely. Yea, drink upon Laman and Lemuel, and also the sons of Ishmael, and the Ishmaelitish women. Ishmaelitish? Apparently that's a word. Okay, so they're all dark and evil and cursed. Blah. Fine. And this was done. I'm not gonna. We all know that it said that. It's saying it again. It's reminding us how racist it is. Okay. Let's just move on. And this was done that their seed might be distinguished from the seed of their brethren. Oh, please stop describing your racism. I was moving on, but the book's not done. It's no. Just so you know, I want to make sure that even their descendants are cursed. Yeah, that's great. Okay. That thereby the Lord God might preserve his people, that they might not mix and believe in incorrect traditions which would prove their destruction. Fine. Yes. A good white delightsome person could never, ever mix their seed with the dark evil people. That would be just horrible. Racist filth. And it came to pass, drink, that whosoever did mingle his seed with that... Stop it! Can I skip this part? It just keeps going and going on how racist it is. Okay, whoever mingled his seed with that of the Lamanites did bring the same curse upon his seed. There you go. You get any dark blood in you, then your line is... Therefore, whosoever suffered himself to be led away by the Lamanites was called under that head, and there was a mark set upon him. And it came to pass, drink, that whosoever would not believe in the tradition of the Lamanites, but believed those records which were brought out of the land of Jerusalem, and also in the tradition of their fathers, which were correct, mind you. It didn't say mind you, I threw that in. Who believed in the commandments of God and kept them were called the Nephites, or the people of Nephi, from that time forth. From that time forth. This happened a long time ago, but okay. And it is they who have kept the records which are true of their people, and also of the people of the Lamanites. Now we will return again to the Amalekites. Now we will return? What is this? Suddenly there's a different narration. Now we will return again to the Amalekites. Okay, there you go, everybody. Now we will return again to the Amalekites, for they also had a mark set upon them. Yea, drink. They set the mark upon themselves. Yea, drink again. Even a mark of red upon their foreheads. Okay, the word mark is confusing, because just a few verses ago it was saying the mark was their dark skin. And now it's like a red dot on their forehead, which I think maybe, when Joseph Smith was writing / translating, depending what your faith is. But anyway, maybe he was thinking the Lamanites became Indians, but he was confusing which Indian. Yeah, maybe that's what's going on there. Hence the whole red dot thing, mixing them up with Hindus. Probably not, but I don't know what this red mark is new. This is new information, so I'm just running with it and trying to figure it out. Okay. Thus the word of God is fulfilled. Okay. For these are the words which he said to Nephi, Behold, the Lamanites have I cursed, and I will set a mark on them, that they and their seed may be separated from thee and thy seed, from this time henceforth and forever, except they repent of their wickedness, and turn to me, that I may have mercy upon them. Yep. God's a racist, we know. And again, I will set a mark upon him that mingleth his seed with thy brethren, that they may be cursed also. Of course. And again, I will set a mark upon him that fighteth against thee and thy seed. Everybody's getting marked. Although again, I don't know what the mark is. It's either your skin turns dark, or you get a red dot on your forehead. One of the two. Okay. And again, I say, he that departeth from thee shall no more be called thy seed, and I will bless thee, and whomsoever shall be called thy seed, henceforth and forever. And these were the promises of the Lord unto Nephi and to his seed. Okay, and now the Amalekites knew not that they were fulfilling the words of God when they began to mark themselves on their foreheads. Nevertheless, they had come out in open rebellion against God. Therefore, it was expedient that the curse should fall upon them. Now I'm thinking that these Amalekites are suddenly looking down at their skin saying, what's all this? How did we turn brown? I'm guessing. I guess that's the curse. I think. The mark, confusing. It's either a red dot, but when they say the curse, I'm pretty sure that means they turn dark in pure God racist form. Now I would that ye should see that they brought upon themselves the curse, and even so doth every man that is cursed bring him upon himself his own condemnation. Yes, because having dark skin, you're condemned. Beautiful. Now it came to pass, drink, that not many days after the battle which was fought in the land of Zarahemla by the Lamanites and the Amlicites, there was another army of the Lamanites came in upon the people of Nephi, in the same place where the first army met the Amalekites. All right, battle number 2. So the Lamanites lost. They went back. They went in the wilderness, torn up, and word got back that hey, this little ragtag group of Nephites just really whipped us. I mean, they slaughtered tons of people. So Lamanites are like, no, we're not taking this sitting down. They're coming back out to battle. And now it came to pass, drink, there was an army sent to drive them out of their land. That's right. Lamanites are not taking this. They're coming back. Now Alma himself, being afflicted with a wound, when did that happen? All right, Alma's wounded, everybody, did not go up to battle at this time against the Lamanites, but he sent up a numerous army against them, and they went up and slew many of the Lamanites, and drove the remainder of them out of the borders of the land. Well, that was a very boring battle, but okay, Lamanites lost again. And they again returned. And then they returned again, and began to establish peace in the land, being troubled no more for a time with their enemies. Okay, so that was the defining blow, apparently. Now all these things were done, yea, drink, and all these wars and contentions were commenced and ended in the 5th year of the reign of the judges. That was a bloody year. And in 1 year were thousands and tens of thousands of souls sent to the eternal world, that they might reap their rewards according to their works, whether they were good or whether they were bad. I love that. Imagine you get up to heaven and God's sitting there and he's like, so, were you good or bad? Like, what kind of, can you define what that means? Okay, so whether they were good or bad, it just seems so childish to word it that way. It's like, whether or not Santa's going to give you presents, were you naughty or nice, you know what I mean? Okay, to reap eternal happiness or eternal misery, there you go. It's just so childish. You were good? Eternal happiness. You were bad? Eternal misery. Okay, according to the spirit which they listed to obey, whether it be a good spirit or a bad one. I'm sorry. It's like a nursery rhyme. Okay. For every man receiveth wages of him whom he listeth to obey, and this according to the words of the spirit of prophecy. Therefore let it be according to the truth, and thus endeth the 5th year of the reign of the judges. I don't know, his wages. That was strange. I guess what it's just saying is like, whoever you decide to obey, you're pretty much going to get what's coming to you for obeying that person. Yeah. And I love it that that's your choice in life. You have to obey someone. Like, you must be subject to a god, either a good one or a bad one. There's just bad gods out there. Don't follow the bad gods. Okay, that was chapter 3. Well, we're getting close. I'm going to see if I can power through chapter 4. If this is a bit of a long episode, so be it. But I don't want to end yet, so we're going to keep going. Now it came to pass, drink, in the 6th year of the reign of the judges over the people of Nephi, there were no contentions nor wars in the land of Zarahemla. That should just be the end of chapter 4. Year 6? Good. But no, it's not. We're going to keep going. But the people were afflicted. Oh, that's not good. Yea, drink, greatly afflicted for the loss of their brethren, and also for the loss of their flocks and herds, and also for the loss of their fields of grain, which were trodden under foot and destroyed by the Lamanites. Well, I mean, it was a battle. You can't put that all on the Lamanites, right? I mean, your people are out there trotting around too, right? I think, pretty much. And so great were their afflictions that every soul had cause to mourn. And they believed it was the judgments of God sent upon them because of their wickedness and their abominations. Therefore they were awakened to a remembrance of their duty. Well, what wickedness and abominations did they do? The people, these were the good guys, right? Like the ones that were wicked and abominations, at least according to this story, they were the ones that fought. I mean, they were the ones that, like, whatever. I don't. Apparently, everybody's just wicked, an abomination. They're just constant. You can't avoid it. So now they remembered their duty to God, I assume. And they began to establish the church more fully. Yes, let's go all in with this theocracy. Yea, drink. That many were baptized in the waters of Sidon. Ew, disgusting. You don't want to go in there. There's dead bodies everywhere in there. Oof. But apparently, they think the water's clean enough to be baptized in it, even though it's ridden with corpses. Okay, and were joined to the church of God. Yea, drink. They were baptized by the hand of Alma. Of course they were. Alma and his dad are the only people in this book who've ever baptized anyone. They're just like baptizer extraordinaire. Okay, who had been consecrated by the high priest over the people of the church by the hand of his father Alma. So, yep, Alma and Alma are the baptizers. And it came to pass, drink, in the 7th year of the reign of the judges. Are they going to do this every year? In the 8th year? In the 22nd year? All right, year 7 now. And maybe instead of saying in the reign of the judges, maybe I should just say, under a totalitarian theocracy. That might be a better way of describing instead of the reign of the judges. Okay, there were about 3,500 souls that united themselves to the church of God and were baptized, and thus ended the 7th year of the reign of the judges over the people of Nephi, and there was a continual peace in all that time. So in the 7th year, everybody, what happened? 3,500 people got baptized. That's it. Took all year to do it. I mean, it's one guy. It's just Alma. Come on. He can't do that in a day. That's ridiculous. So Alma's pretty much, in the entire 7th year, he's just sitting in this disgusting, corpse-ridden river, baptizing people day after day. No wonder Alma's not feeling well. It wasn't the wound. That's why he wasn't fighting. Probably because he has, vicious dysentery. Anyway, and it came to pass in the 8th year. Oh my God, they really are going to do this. Year by year by year. Okay, here we go. Year 8, everybody. In the reign of the judges, that the people of the church began to wax proud because of their exceeding riches and their fine silks. How does this happen? I don't understand how suddenly people are rich. Whatever. Because this whole, when they described the society, it was very socialist, wasn't it? Like everyone had to share everything, and now they're getting rich. Weird. Alright, so their exceeding riches, their fine silks, their fine twined linen, and because of their many flocks and herds, and their gold and silver, and all manner of precious things, which they had obtained by their industry. Okay, your industry wouldn't make you rich. Wouldn't, unless you had some sort of trade partner, and I can't imagine who that would be. It certainly couldn't be the Lamanites, right? I mean, but somehow they're making things that some invisible society is buying from them and making them rich. I mean, I'm not an economist, but I'm pretty sure you can have great industry, but if you're not trading, it's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? Anyway, whatever. And in all things were they lifted up in the pride of their eyes, for they began to wear very costly apparel. And this was the cause of much affliction to Alma, yea, drink, and to many people whom Alma had consecrated to be teachers, priests, elders over the church, yea, drink again. Many of them were sorely grieved for the wickedness which they saw had begun to be amongst their people. So yeah, the leaders of this theocracy, they're not liking that their flock are gaining power, right? It's pretty much what's happening, right? With wealth comes power, and they're seeing these people get powerful, and they're not happy about it. They're not happy. They're gonna see that this stops. For they saw and beheld with great sorrow that the people of the church began to be lifted up in the pride of their eyes, and to set their hearts upon riches and upon vain things of the world, and they began to be scornful one towards another, and they began to persecute those that did not believe according to their own will and pleasure. They had me until this whole persecute those who didn't believe. They're all in the same church. Some of them have more money. Weird. And thus, in the 8th year of the reign of the judges, there began to be great contentions among the people of the church. Yea, drink, they were envyings, and strife, and malice, and persecutions, and pride, even to exceed the pride of those who did not belong to the church of God. Who could live in this society and not belong to the church of God? I don't understand that at all. But, okay, apparently there's some people that live there that have not been baptized. They didn't get in the right line in year 7. And thus ended the 8th year of the reign of the judges, and the wickedness of the church was a great stumbling block to those who did not belong to the church. And thus the church began to fail in its progress. Strange. So, I guess it's saying for the people that had not yet been baptized, they're looking at this church saying, well, that's wicked. I don't want to be any part of that. I think that's what it's trying to say. And it came to pass, drink, in the commencement of the 9th year, here we go again, Alma saw the wickedness of the church, and he also saw the example of the church began to lead those who were unbelievers on from one piece of iniquity to another, thus bringing on the destruction of the people. Yea, drink, he saw great inequality among the people. Can't have that. If he was following his dad's advice, socialism is the way to go. Inequality, no good. Got to spread that wealth out. Some lifting themselves up with pride, despising others, turning their backs upon the needy and the naked, and those who were hungry, and those who were athirst, and those who were sick and afflicted. I'll still never understand athirst. That's just a straight. Why not just thirsty? That's the word, not athirst. But anyway, second time they've said athirst, but I'll just run with it. Now this was a great cause for lamentations among the people, while others were abasing themselves, succoring to those who stood in need of their succor. I remember I looked that up before. I still don't. Who cares? Such as imparting the substance to the poor and the needy, feeling the hungry and the suffering, all manner of afflictions for Christ's sake. who should come. I'm sorry. I love it when it says for Christ's sake. That's hilarious. All right, let me do it again. Okay. Imparting their substance to the poor and the needy, feeding the hungry, and the suffering all manner of afflictions for Christ's sake, who should come according to the spirit of prophecy. Sorry. Okay. So, all right. Basically, there were some people that were helping the poor, and there were some who were not. Okay. That's pretty much what all of that babbling said. For Christ's sake, that's what it said. Looking forward to that day, thus retaining a remission of their sins, being filled with great joy because of the resurrection of the dead. Oof, zombies are back. According to the will and power and deliverance of Jesus Christ from the bands of death. I don't know, where's the story going? It's starting to get strange. And now it came to pass, drink, that Alma, having seen the afflictions of the humble followers of God, and the persecutions which were heaped upon them by the remainder of his people, and seeing all their inequality, began to be very sorrowful. Nevertheless, the Spirit of the Lord did not fail him. You know, Alma, quick tip here, you rule this land. I mean, you can call yourself a judge or whatever, but let's be honest, you're in charge. So you can either be sorrowful, or you can do something about it. That's just, maybe. That's my advice. Maybe do something. And he selected a wise man who was among the elders of the church, and gave him power according to the voice of the people, that he might have power to enact laws according to the laws which had been given, and put them in force according to the wickedness and the crimes of the people. Alma took my advice. He's doing something. So he is now establishing a religious police who are going to go around and, arrest people that are breaking religious law. So there we go. Theocracy in action. This, by the way, to anyone that didn't know how theocracy works, this is how it devolves very quickly. You now have a religious police force enforcing religious law. There you go. And we already know that not everybody here is a believer. This society is not it's not 100% members of the church, but yet that church now has the actual political power to go and arrest people and judge them and punish them if they're not following the church that they may or may not belong. Just saying, this is how it happens. Now this man's name was what in the world? Nephihah. Strange. It's like Nephi. Oh, Nephihah. So it's like Nephi and then H-A-H. Nephihah. I guess. It's a strange name. And he was appointed, not that the other names weren't strange, but this one's especially strange. Anyway. Nephihah. And he was appointed chief judge, and he sat in the judgment seat to judge and to govern the people. So I thought Alma was chief judge. I guess he gave it up. Now Alma did not grant unto him the office of being high priest over the church. But he retained the office of high priest unto himself, but he delivered the judgment seat under Nephihah. Okay, so Alma's saying, look, I'm going to let you be, basically Alma's like, I don't know how to be, in charge of the government like that. I've clearly failed. Look at the results. Just chaos. I'm sucking at this. So Alma had the good sense to turn the reins of power over to someone that maybe is competent at this. And he said, I'm still high priest now. Don't mess around with that. God chose me to be high priest. Not up to me to hand that off. But you can be the chief judge and do a better job judging than I did. And this he did, that he himself might go forth among his people, or among the people of Nephi, that he might preach the word of God unto them, to stir them up in remembrance of their duty, and he might pull down by the words of God all the prides and craftiness, and all the contentions which were among his people, seeing no way that he might reclaim them, save it were in bearing down in pure testimony against them. It was basically like, look, I tried the stick, right? I tried to punish you. I was the judge. I was dropping judgments. It wasn't working, so I'm going to try the carrot now. I'm just going to come in and tell you how good God is, and see how that works. And thus, in the commencement of the 9th year of the reign of the judges over the people of Nephi, Alma delivered up the judgment seat to Nephihah, and confined himself wholly to the high priesthood of the holy order of God, to the testimony of the word, according to the spirit of revelation and prophecy. And that, my friends, is the end of chapter 4, and the end of episode 31. So thanks to everybody. That's that. We're going to start on chapter 5 next time. But boy, talk about an exciting episode. Whew, definitely the bloodiest episode, right? There's some serious battles going on. But, they literally said the army was so big, it was like more than there are, sand in the sea. So it's like, that's just billions, right? And they just killed them all. They couldn't even count how many people were dying. There were so many dead people that they actually created a bridge across a river with corpses. And of course, then they baptized people in the same river. Anyway, fun story. That one was, I hope more episodes are like this one. This is fun. I hope everybody enjoyed it as much as I did. That was a good reading. So until next time, everybody, keep being awesome. Oh, one thing I got to tell you. So Priest Jay Wartena reached out to me, because if you remember last episode, I said, listen, I'm struggling to find time to put together another MIMO special. Priest Jay Wartena reached out. He's going to take the reins, and he's going to help us out. Yeah. So he's going to be kind of putting together everything that needs to be, all the kind of, admin type of stuff that has to get done for that to happen. He's stepped up. So Priest Jay Wartena, once again, being awesome. And, so we're gonna have another MIMO special coming up real soon, because there's someone that's actually competent that's going to set it up for us. So I, like Alma, realized what I was not very good at and found someone that was better, and I handed that off. So thank you, Priest Jay Wartena. You maybe I should just call you what was it? Nephi-Ha. Nephi-Ha. That's such a strange name. Okay. So one last thing I want to say before we close the show. I forgot to mention this when I was telling you about the listener that emailed, or the MIMO, that emailed, and tell me about their, that they're really starting to think about their faith after listening to this podcast. So, of course, I told them to go check out Whitefield's Educational Foundation, and if they wanted, and they didn't have the means, they could certainly take advantage of the Taylor Scholarship. You thought I'd forgotten about that, hadn't you? Yeah, hadn't hit you up for that. So, yeah, if you want to help people just like the listener I keep saying that, the MIMO that wrote in to tell me that they were struggling with this, there's services out there that can help them through it. For those of you that have been through this without help, you know how hard it is. So let's make sure that we don't forget about that Taylor Scholarship. Contribute some of what you can spare to that, because I really believe it's a good cause, and I think it's something that's really going to help people in a lot of great ways. Okay, that's enough. You guys are the best. I am a proud member of the MIMO family, and I hope all of you are too. And we will see you next time. Goodbye.
This song is licensed for use within this podcast. All song and copyright information can be found at www.mybookofmormonpodcast.com.